Yes, it's okay. Let me just continue, okay? The title of my presentation is Mentorship and Pros and Cons. I would like to seize this opportunity to thank the faculty for asking me to make this presentation and also congratulate the faculty as well as the college. I want to also seize this opportunity to welcome all the participants, especially our elders. I'm sure you're going to have a memorable stay in Abuja. I don't have any potential conflict of interest to disclose. Next three slides is on the outline of the presentation. I will start with an introduction. I will look at some definitions, look at benefits of mentorship and some drawbacks of mentorship. We'll also look at skills for effective mentoring, as well as some models and frameworks for mentoring. And we'll look at the conclusion, and then I've decided to also show you some mentoring programs online. First, let's talk about the origin or etymology of the word mentor. In the Greek mythology, Odysseus went to fight in the Trojan War and entrusted the care of his son, Telemachus, to an older and wiser friend, Mentor. Odysseus was away for decades. And in his absence, Telemachus and Mentor developed a strong relationship built on foundation of guidance and support. So the word mentor is actually a name of an individual. It is a noun, but it's converted into a verb. The word mentor has become synonymous with teacher, counselor, coach, facilitator, motivator, and a friend. The iconography of this slide shows that mentoring or mentoring relationship, we have both historical and fictional types of mentoring relationship. We know that Socrates mentored Plato and Plato mentored Aristotle. Likewise, Steve Jobs mentored Mark Zuckerberg. If you remember, I'm sure some of you must have been watching the television series Harry Potter. Dumbledore mentored Harry Potter, and in Star Wars, Yoda mentored Luke Skywalker. This slide shows that mentoring or mentoring relationship is all about lending a hand. It is about a relationship between two people, the mentor and the mentee or proteege. We should know that mentoring takes place even in the jungle. And likewise, mentoring is not just successful mentoring cannot take place if you have name calling, shouting, if the mentor is oppressing the mentee. So let's look at some definitions under mentorship. A mentor is a wise and trusted person who encourages human development of a mentee. Here, I'm referring to the resident doctor. The mentee is a person who is advised, trained, or counseled by a mentor, regardless of the age or position of the mentor and mentee. A proteege refers to a junior person in an organization in a formal relationship who is under the wing of a mentor, protected and nurtured over time. So what is mentorship? Mentorship is a protected relationship in which the mentor an experienced, skilled clinician and academician, here I'm referring to a consultant psychiatrist, guides and nurtures the professional development and growth of a mentee, the resident doctor. So what is clinical mentoring? It's a sustained collaborative relationship between a highly experienced, skilled clinician, academician, who supports the professional growth of residents and promotes excellence in teaching, learning, research, and academic or clinical leadership. Clinical academic mentorship is a system of practical training and consultation that fosters ongoing professional development to yield sustainable, high-quality clinical academic outcomes. Clinical mentors need to be experienced practicing clinicians in their own right with strong teaching skills. Mentoring should be seen as part of a continuum of education required to create competent healthcare providers. I have 3 quotes here, and I want to quote them. One is by Dr. Beverly Kay. She said, behind every successful person, there's one element of truth. Somewhere, somehow, someone cared about their growth and development, and this person was their mentor. The second quote is from Wilfred Oprah. This is what she has to say about Angela Maya Angelou. She says, she is the woman who can share my triumphs, chide me with hard truth, and soothe me with words of comfort when I call her in my deepest pain. Last one is by a 17th century American politician, John Crosby. He said, mentoring is a brain to pick, an ear to listen, and a push in the right direction. We have all been mentored knowingly or otherwise at some stage of our careers and life in general. Think about the people you met in the past who have provided you with a brain to pick, the ear to listen, or the push in the right direction. Did you think of them as your mentors at that time? With those people and experiences in mind, define mentoring. Now I'm going to give you 1 minute and then we move on. Just reflect over. Think. I want you to watch this video clip and listen
throughout
to
your career and throughout your personal
opinion.
development, you've had many mentors. And what have been a
watch this video and listen to Simon Sinek, an expert in leadership. I want you to listen to his opinion on mentorship.
throughout your career and throughout your personal development, you've had many mentors. And what have been the 2 key takeaways from your mentoring relationships, and how is that shaping how you want to give back and serve others?
Success is a team sport. You cannot be successful by yourself. It doesn't exist. I don't care how smart, strong, or talented you are. It always requires the help or risk of others. Whether somebody gives you a break, somebody gives you some advice, it's just the way the world works. The 2 takeaways from a mentoring relationship, I think, one is gratitude, and the other one is repaying it. Which is when somebody does something for you, somebody helps you, whether it's advice or an opportunity. It's not that you're awesome. It's that you have to show gratitude. Say thank you to these people, and in return, you do it for somebody else. You can't do it for them because they've already achieved more than you have. Sometimes they'll look to you, but in the scheme of the world, the way you do it is you do it for somebody else, because you got ahead because somebody helped you, and so it's only right that you should help somebody else get ahead.
Thank you very much. The key takeaway from that video is that success is gratitude, and you have to not only show gratitude, but also pass on the baton to other people. You must help others too. Now let's look at some of the definitions of mentoring that are in use. There are so many definitions. I don't want to bore you with all, but I decided to choose one. This is one by the Standing Committee on Postgraduate Medical and Dental Education in the United Kingdom, 1998. It defines mentoring as a process whereby an experienced, highly regarded, empathic person, the mentor, guides another, usually younger individual, the mentee, in the development and re-examination of their own ideas, learning, and personal or professional development. So the key words here is personal and professional development of the mentee, your resident, as well as re-examining his own ideas and learning. So why do we need mentorship? The rationale for mentoring is to support the professional growth of our residents and to promote excellence in teaching, learning, research, and academic clinical leadership. There are key benefits of mentoring, but I want us to look at, there are so many benefits of mentoring, but I want us to look at two kind of key benefits. One is self-awareness, and the other one is, what does my future look like for the mentee? So let's define what is self-awareness. Sutton broadly defines it as the extent to which people are consciously aware of their internal states and their interactions or relationship with others. A self-aware person has a clear understanding of his thoughts, his strengths, his weaknesses, his motives, his emotions, and how others perceive him. What does my future self look like? It's equally very important. That's what the mentee needs to. He wants to define himself. He wants to know what he's going to be in the future. So there are so many benefits of mentorship, but you can divide them into three main groups. One, benefits to the mentee, the mentor, and the organization. First, let's look at the benefits to the mentee. The mentee gains practical advice, encouragement, and support. He's able to identify goals and establish a sense of direction. He learns from the experiences of others. He develops communication, study, and personal skills. He increases his social and academic confidence and reduces stress and burnout. Relationship helps the mentee take the lead in managing his career and development. It improves the mentee and team performance. It provides support to discuss personal issues in confidential and secure environment. There are many other process or benefits of mentoring to the mentee. I want to skip and go to benefits to the mentor. The mentor develops a career satisfaction. He improves his leadership skills, increases his self-awareness, helps build professional network, and improves the ability to disseminate knowledge and skills. He improves his communication and personal skills. He increases his confidence and motivation, and increases circle of friends. He benefits from a sense of fulfillment and growth for helping a junior person. What are the benefits to the organization? Improved job satisfaction, leading to improved performance, recruitment, and retention of employees. It enables early recognition and resolution of issues that face employees. It instills pride in the organization and its talents. It symbolizes the investment of organization is making in its talents. It positions the organization as innovative and forward-thinking. Mentorship has drawbacks. It has drawbacks to the mentee, to the mentor, and to the organization. To the organization, there's lack of organizational support that hinders mentorship. Often, some organizations have problems supporting the mentorship relationship. The mentorship may create climate of dependency between the mentor and the mentee. There's difficulty in coordinating programs and organizational initiatives when it is anchored, when it is monitored by the organization, when the relationship is monitored by the organization. There's problem overseeing and administrating programs. No, overseeing and administrating programs requires money and resources. The mentee often neglects his jobs. He may have some negative experiences and unrealistic experiences. He may have role conflict with his mentor. And the relationship may hinder creativity in the new mentee. For the mentor, the major drawbacks are lack of time, lack of perceived benefits, lack of mentorship skills, resentment of mentees, trouble relationship with the mentee. Authoritative mentoring may hinder the relationship. Let's look at what we do now. That's clinical research supervision versus mentorship. What's the difference between the two? Supervision is objective, while mentoring is subjective. Supervision is informal, is formal, whereas mentorship is informal. In both, there's overlap. You have potential conflicts in both. There are so many differences between mentorship and supervision, but I will concentrate on the areas of overlap. There's patient flow and trials in both. There's clinic organization in both. There's patient monitoring and record keeping in both. There's regular team meetings, review of referral decisions, and ensuring compliance with national protocols and guidelines in both the two. So let's look at the various types of mentorship that we have. You have one-to-one mentoring. It is mentoring between a mentor and a mentee, between two people. But you can also have group mentoring, one mentor and a small group of mentees. Or you can have speed mentoring, a new and upcoming type of mentoring. Within a short period, the mentee meets multiple mentors. It is a focused approach. You also have multiple mentor experience model, more than one mentor assigned to a group of mentees. And you also have peer mentoring. The mentor and mentee are equal in experience and grade. When the mentor and mentee roles are reversed, this is called co-mentoring. And you also have distance or e-mentoring. Distance mentoring is becoming more popular. It has the advantage of being very fast, focused, and typically centered on developmental needs. You also have formal and informal mentoring. Informal mentoring, there is no organizational structure. Whereas informal, the organization is aware of what is happening. Informal occurs between two individuals or between individuals. The selection is either by the mentor or the mentee. The mentee decides to choose who is mentored to be. Likewise, the mentor decides who is mentee is going to be. Whereas in a formal setup, you have a formal recognition by an institution of the relationship, and there's executive commitment to the relationship. There's clear purpose, measurable goals, mechanism for assessing and monitoring of results. And there's somebody assigned with the task of coordinating the relationship. You may have a highly structured short-term mentoring relationship or highly structured long-term mentoring relationship or informal short-term mentoring relationship or informal long-term mentoring relationship. In highly structured short-term, the relationship is formally established for a specific period of time, often to meet a specific objective. Whereas the highly structured long-term is often used for succession, planning, and developing someone over time. If you want to develop somebody or you want somebody to take over from you a particular position or master a particular task. Whereas in informal short-term, this type of mentoring ranges from spontaneous advice as needed, maybe an ongoing relationship. Informal long-term is often referred to friendship mentoring, and it consists of being available as needed to discuss problems, to listen or share special knowledge. If you listen to Winfrey Oprah's quote and her relationship with Angela Mayu, you said, this is one woman she can call anytime for advice. We also have non-traditional mentorship, distance mentoring, one-on-one relationship facilitated by technology. People now use emails, Skype, etc. Situational mentoring is used for a short time to address a specific issue or purpose. And you also have mentoring cycles. Members take turns to be mentors or mentees, leading to a cycling of information stroke support in the group. There's group or team mentoring. This could be mentor with several mentees or a mentee with several mentors. You also have peer mentoring, more of a reciprocal rather than hierarchical relationship aimed at promoting a sense of community. You also have reverse mentoring. The less experienced, often younger employee, most often foolish, employed mentors or more experienced individuals, encouraging both parties to teach and learn at the same time. So let's look at some skills for an effective mentoring. One, a good mentor must have the ability to build support and trust. He must have empathy. He must have the patience and time to commit into the relationship. He must have the relevant knowledge and experience, and should have self-awareness and ability to listen. Let's look at empathy. It's a key component of building rapport and trust in empathy. It's empathy, sorry. Here, you are expected to put aside your viewpoint and try to understand things from the other person's viewpoint. They are not being unkind, stubborn, or unreasonable. They are just reacting to a situation with the knowledge they have. Validate the other person's perspective. Once you see where others believe what they believe, acknowledge it. You can accept that people have different opinions from your own, and that they have good reason to hold those opinions. Examine your attitude. Are you more concerned with getting your way, winning or being right? Or is your priority to find a solution, build relationship and accept others? Without an open mind and attitude, you probably wouldn't have enough room for empathy. Listen to the entire message that the other person is trying to communicate. What tone of voice is being used? What is the person doing with his or her body while speaking? What do you think the other person feels? Ask what the other person would do. When in doubt, ask the person to explain his or her position. You must have the ability to ask questions and challenge effectively. You must be honest and respect confidentiality. You should be open-minded, and you should have a positive approach that motivates and encourages the mentee. More on self-awareness. Many of us think that there was a study by Tasha in 2017. In that study, she found that 95% of people think that they are self-aware, but the real figure is about 10 to 15. So what is, there are two types of insight: internal self-awareness and external self-awareness. In internal self-awareness is an inward understanding of our passions, our aspirations, strengths, and weaknesses, whereas external self-awareness is knowing how others see you and understand you from the outside. Your ability to listen is also very, very important. Active listeners should have maintained eye contact, keep open body language, make encouraging sounds and notes, and allow silence. There are 4 key areas that good mentors work on. 1, a good mentor is a critical friend. He is a motivator. He is a networker. He is a role model. When he stretches and gives when he stretches the mentor and he's non-directive, he's a networker. When he encourages and non-directive, he's a role model. If he stretches the mentee and is directive, he's a critical friend. If he encourages the mentee and is directive, he's a motivator. So what are the qualities of a good mentor relationship? The many hats of a mentor include advisor and a counselor, a friend, an agent, a teacher, a helper, a coach, a manager, and a leader. A mentor should motivate the mentee, empower and encourage him, nurture self-confidence, teach by example, offer wise counsel, and raise the performance of the mentee, raise the performance bar. So what makes mentorship relationship fail? When there's poor communication between the mentor and the mentee, when there is lack of commitment to the relationship, and when there is personality clash between the mentor and mentee, and when also there is a experience on the part of mentee. The mentoring process is in phase 1, you have rapport building and establishing trust. Mentor and mentee decide whether they want to work together and negotiate what each part expects of the other in the relationship. Phase 2 is direction setting. Mentor and mentee achieve clarity about what each aims to achieve from the relationship and how are they going to do that. Phase 3, progress making. Having helped the mentee define and commit to personal change, the mentor must guide and support the mentee. Phase 4, winding down. When the relationship has helped to deliver the desired outcome of the mentee, or the mentee outgrows the mentor, you have to wind down. You have to let go the mentee. Phase 5, moving on, or professional friendship. Moving on from a formal mentoring relationship towards a less committed, more casual relationship with their mentee. I want to discuss, there are so many models and frameworks of mentoring, but I want to discuss only 2, the 5 C's and G-star model. First, let's look at the 5C. Once the mentee defines his goal and sets some objectives, the mentor will often use a framework or model to give structure to their discussions. The 5C's model by Pegg supports a mentee who wants to focus on a particular set of challenges or has a range of options to decide. The 5 C's are: 1, challenges, an issue or problem the mentee is currently facing. 2, choices, the options available to the mentee for dealing with the issue or problem. 3, consequences, the consequences of choosing one option over another. 4, creative solutions, other solutions that the mentor and the mentee might come up with during the discussion. And finally, conclusion, a decision about what to do next and a commitment to take action. In the G-STAR model, first, the setting of goals and objectives. And these are some questions you need to ask. What are the mentee's goals? What situation is the mentee facing? What is his thinking at this time? What action is he considering? What results does he expect? Hill University offers a useful list of possible questions that the mentor could ask at each stage. Under challenges, these are some questions one that can ask. Which is the first challenge you would like to explore? Can you give me a picture of what is happening? What will be a positive outcome? And the choices, what do you see as the possible options you have for tackling the challenge? What have you tried before? What were the consequences? What do you think will happen if you did nothing? And the consequences, what do you see as the pluses and minuses involved in pushing options A, B, or C? How attractive do you find each of these options? Take a minute to rate each of the possible solutions from 1 to 10, maybe 1 to 5, whatever solutions the mentee provides, and to consider why you have given these ratings. Creative solutions, is it possible to take the best parts from each option and create a new road? How will this look? Have you ever been in a similar situation in the past and managed it successfully? What did you do? Are there any other people, teams, or institutions that have successfully managed this kind of challenge? What did they do to manage it successfully? What will you do if you could start all over again tomorrow? And under conclusion, let's explore the options you have chosen. What will be the pluses? What will be the minuses? Bearing these consequences in mind, are you prepared to go ahead? What steps must you take to reach your goals? How can you take these steps? When do you want to begin? What can you do to get some early successes? Remember, people learn differently. In conclusion, many of us are not trained in effective mentoring skills or designing mentoring programs. Fellows are most often very busy with their core clinical research and administrative or educational responsibilities. Mentoring is a vital component of medical education. Here are some examples of mentoring programs online. You can Google author8.org, Coursera, EDX, Society for Scholarly Publishing. I've downloaded some of these. I decided to use some of the websites.